Hey there. Welcome to another edition of Cambridge Inside Out. I'm the very calm, cool, collected Robert Winters. And you?
Judy. I'm trying to figure out which camera to look at. Anyway,
It's
I'm going to look at camera
something over
one.
there, yeah.
So, are you looking at camera one?
Nah. I'm just watching myself on TV.
All right. Judy Nathans, Cambridge Inside Out, on a non-municipal meeting week.
Right, this is the summer recess.
Summer recess. So we're taking a
kind of a hiatus.
A hiatus.
Of sort. From politics.
We're here, though. Yeah, from politics.
Yeah.
Because, boy, if you want that, just turn on the TV or
Turn
the
on the
radio
TV.
and just...
Plenty to go
I
through.
even turned on the TV, and I never turn on the TV in the afternoon, but I actually caught that man speaking from a transcript, so he sounded somewhat normal. Except when he tried to say would to wouldn't.
Really?
Did you get that whole thing?
No, because I turned the TV off.
His big thing, I misspoke. I didn't mean would, I meant wouldn't. He said it's a double negative. Something about Russia and maybe...
It really depends on what the meaning of is, I think.
No, I think his advisors or someone said, just
Yeah.
say this. Just say this.
Yeah,
it'll cover
that's right.
us.
No, and that's not the first time that's happened,
No.
actually. So
anyway,
so
but getting back to more normal. You know,
yes,
local, even though it's raining outside and
That's
maybe
right.
thundering, but you know what, we need the rain. I'm not complaining.
That's
Could be
right.
burning up Yosemite. Did you hear that? Really bad
I heard
fires
some big
going
fires
on.
out in Yosemite.
In
Actually,
Utah,
one firefighter was killed.
it's terrible.
When I lived out in Flagstaff,
Right,
Arizona,
California
I was
yeah.
good friends with people who were hot shots.
Yes.
Hot shots are
Remember,
firefighters.
19 of them died several
In
years ago.
one big incident, and they come from all states all around.
I know
hot
so.
shot
I know
crews.
someone's husband who goes to that.
Yeah,
from
and
here.
pretty amazing work that they do.
Anyway, yeah. Jeez. All right.
Anyway, so somewhat inspired by our guest last week, Kathy Zusi.
Yes, wonderful.
And the
you didn't catch it.
catch it on the reruns. Yeah. We get residuals for that, don't we?
Yeah, right.
You know,
Now,
like
seriously,
Gilligan's,
you
old
get it
Gilligan's
on.
Island.
Do you have a YouTube channel, right?
Got a YouTube.
But also, if
YouTube.
you went to your Cambridge Civic or
Go to Cambridge Civic Journal. We got links in there as well.
And I don't know if Kathy's linked it on the magazine beat. She probably hasn't because she doesn't want to promote herself.
She's a humble person.
That's right.
Right, but the thing is what's going on in Magazine Beach is actually pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
And and a lot of credit goes to a lot of the folks from the Cambridge Port Neighborhood Association. And what's the organization? It was Magazine Beach Partners is what they're called now, right?
But the website's magazinebeach.org, yeah.
So I think after the show last week, we were sort of chatting a little bit, and we had this notion that, there actually are some pretty nice things around Cambridge that are kind of like our favorite things.
Yeah.
Maybe, certainly I can make a list of my series.
Yeah, and I looked at his list, and I could figure out about 4 or 5 that I agreed with, and some I didn't, and not agree, but knew about and supported, and the others I actually didn't. Some of them. Yeah. But we can go over that.
Oh yeah.
And Robert's good at taking real photos, not iPhone, because he doesn't have one.
Yeah. So anyway, the thing is if somebody was coming out of town to Cambridge, they might get off the bus at Harvard University or at MIT.
And the subway. They're not probably on a bus.
Well, actually, the tourist bus.
Uber.
They come by
the tour
in big ways. Yeah.
Oh, did they let them out?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, they have.
Oh wait, you're talking about those big buses that are on Mount Auburn that are parked?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Summertime actually, Cambridge is crawling with people from out of town, right? But they go to some of the obvious places, Harvard, Harvard museums, Harvard University, Harvard Yard.
Asian visitors.
Yeah, and they're all great places. Don't get me wrong. I work at MIT. I think it's a wonderful place, right?
They have great museums.
Yeah, but if you live around Cambridge, there are actually some kind of pretty special places.
Open type spaces.
Yeah, a little bit more open places. One of which is Magazine Beach. Yes. And but we thought we'd touch on a few other ones this week.
Okay.
In part, we maybe just remind a little bit about Magazine Beach, but there was another ribbon cutting about a week ago for Sacramento Street Field. So we'll tell you a little bit about that, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's a picture. Okay. Now you may just say, hey, that's just a big green grass.
Yeah, with
field.
a tennis ball.
Actually, it's not a tennis ball.
Oh, what is that?
It's just a marker. It's on the field. And you'll notice that the field is not actually open here yet. Now, one of the interesting things about Sacramento Field is that there are actually a lot of people don't even know it's there.
I was going to say, what is that in between? I mean, what are the cross streets?
Okay, so the thing is Sacramento Street, which bridges Mass Ave and Oxford Street. And it actually has the Baldwin School at the corner at Oxford.
Okay.
And there's the Maud Morgan Center right?
That's next
Which
to the
is
school,
pretty
or
much
for a little further up from the school,
Right,
on the
and
same side.
And this is directly across the street.
Oh, I thought it was a garden. I thought
It
was
is.
Oh.
See, now here's the cool thing.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, you know, a lot of people see there's a really beautiful community garden. I know some of the gardeners.
But you didn't take any photos of that?
I only took one. I did take a few pictures, but I only included one of a particular flower that I liked.
Okay.
But the thing is that behind the garden,
yeah.
there's this secreted little place here, which isn't so little. It's actually the size of a soccer field.
Jeez, that's like 3 house lots.
Yeah. And
Who owns that?
Well, the city owns this. Now, there is a bit of a history to this.
Okay.
Sacramento Field used to actually have a reservoir in it.
Huh.
There was a Somerville place over in Somerville called the Middlesex Bleachery. And the bleachery actually, you know, they did bleaching and dyeing of fabrics. They were actually one of the biggest ones in the area.
Must have killed the water, though.
Well, they needed a water supply, and there were springs in this area here in the Agassiz neighborhood.
What did it do to the groundwater? I'm just saying.
Well, it's basically what it did is it just collected the groundwater, and they also took water from the springs to keep the reservoir up, and then they would draw the water from there and pipe it over to Somerville to use at the bleachery.
And then what happened to it after?
Well, they probably dumped it in a Somerville sewer or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Went back to something that's not good.
But this bleachery actually operated from the 1800s. I actually have the dates here somewhere. 1853 to 1936.
Wow.
And then the reservoir was there.
So the reservoir was in this area?
It was right in the middle of there.
Oh my goodness.
And then what happened in 1940, the person who had bought the property then filled it, and I think then Harvard subsequently purchased the property.
So Harvard owned it.
And then Harvard owned it from maybe 1940 something, I think. It could have been later. Until the city took it by eminent domain in 1980.
Oh, so the city.
And there was
took
actually
it
a real, I think it was an eminent domain taking, and it was a kind of a controversial one, which eventually led to a big settlement of some sort.
Why did they want it? What were they going to do with it?
I think they wanted it for a
Just
field.
open space. I see.
So it was. So the kids in the Baldwin School, which was then called the Agassiz School.
Oh, right. They didn't really have a field.
Yeah. There's actually at the very back of this photo, there's actually a secret little entry that used to
there,
come off. Nope, over on the left edge. There was a secret entry there, and then the only other one was looked like a driveway that was up on the end where more or less where this photo was taken.
Here. Okay.
See, so anyway, so now they've restored this and really made it all beautiful. And actually, let's just scroll down a little bit here. There's some other features that went with this. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now, we happen to have an amazing wood sculptor in town, Mitch Ryerson, who actually does these wonderful sculptures and actually builds playground equipment out of real wood. And you know, he finds pieces of woods and constructs these things here. And it's funny when you look at it; it looks like something out of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's really
What's
quite
the scale
amazing.
of it? It's hard to know. Is this like you sit on this bench here, or is it for kids? Is it a kid size
Well, I
thing?
sat on that bench, so it's
okay.
You know, it's good size for me.
All right.
You know,
is that like a little fort the kids
it's
can
sort
go
of like
in?
a little fort, and it's like a jungle gym. You can climb all over it as well.
Nice.
But actually, in the foreground, I think if you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see another feature that was put in here, which is really especially cool.
All the way down?
All the way down. Next photo down here, I think. Okay, so what you see here is from the previous photos, what you see in the background. But in the foreground, you see some more wood carvings. There's actually a lot of just stray, nicely shaped wood that they just sort of put around there, but that you can actually use as benches. But they actually did this thing where they hollowed out logs and they made like troughs, and there's a working pump there.
I think he's done that at Cambridge Common Playground.
Maybe so, yeah. So the kids will actually lift the handle and operate the pump, and it fills a basin, and there's these little stoppers to allow the water to flow.
Now, is this gravel over here? Is this where it drains if there's overflow? Because I can't.
I think I
it
can't
looks
remember
like
if it's
pebbles.
that, or it could be some of that sort
it's
of
the same thing as over
playground
here.
surface here.
Well,
yeah.
But, drains,
but anyway, it's just this sort of wonderful thing
How
here.
nice.
I can't remember if we have any more photos of that one, but the thing is that. And this is what I wanted to say here is that as part of this whole renovation, which was all sort of brand new and they really redid things, I ran into my friend Astrid and Doug Dodds, who I know from recycling days back in like 1989 to 91. And there was a woman who was very active with the Agassiz neighborhood at the time in the school. named Joanne Hoffman, and they were very concerned. They planted a tree when she died at very early age, age of 46 in 1996. So the Cambridge Public Works and the people who are planning this lovingly took care and made sure that the marker was preserved and everything was taken care of. So there's a real nice mix of.
So it's in the same field
Yep,
area?
it's actually right off on the side with some more playground equipment. I don't have pictures of all the features there, but it's really nice. There's also these very artistic benches when you come in on the Sacramento Street. I think that probably is it. Yeah.
Oh, what about the?
Oh yeah. So right below here.
Beautiful shot. How did you get that so
Just went
close?
right up to it. So right abutting the Sacramento Field is the Sacramento Street Community Garden, which has, I don't know how many plots, but it's a pretty good sized one. And you can, anyway, so I went in there and it's really very lush this time of year. So it's a really special place. I kind of wish I had a little piece of this in my neighborhood, where you have a nice garden together with a field and playground equipment. And it's just
there's a playground off of, what is it? Not Hancock, is it?
Yeah, we have the Cooper tot lot.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, the point I would make about this is that people can be critical about things the city does or doesn't do, but I tell you, the city does some things really well.
They do playgrounds really well.
They do playgrounds really well, and just to name a few names, Mitch Ryerson was the wood carver, but the person who does a lot of the park design, he's I think of him as the grand master of steel and stone, is a guy named Rob Steck.
Oh,
and he's the man. He really is the man. And so he does the design for a lot of the playgrounds, and he really deserves a lot of credit.
I've just seen somewhere they're doing another playground. I'm trying to think if it's a playground somewhere in Cambridge.
Yeah.
Not surprising, I guess. I have to think about where. Ooh, something going
on.
On.
So anyway, so he's really quite the guy, right? And he's in-house. He's not like a contracted person. He works within the community development department, and actually, and just speaking freely here, I kind of wish the city did that a little bit more. There was a day 100 or so years ago, actually 100 years ago, when the city sewerage division, they built the sewers themselves. They laid the bricks. It was like a real craft. Everything is contracted out now.
Well, it's the nature of.
I know there's some reasons, but one of the nice advantages of having sort of the house doctor, as it were, your own playground person, is that there's a certain kind of a look and feel that becomes sort of like, well, you're in a Cambridge playground because it has a kind of a look and feel to it, and I think that's a pretty good thing, actually.
It sounds. I think Cambridge has a lot of in-house people who do different things compared to maybe some other communities, because we seem to have a lot of good employees and so, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously a lot of stuff's contracted out, like for consultants. We really pay a lot on that stuff, but.
Well, certain designs, even with here, there were some things with the playground that were, they brought in a firm, did some of the design work here, but.
Landscaping would probably be done by an outside firm?
Maybe so, yeah. But the thing is that these sort of artistic benches that are.
Well, that's all probably through the Arts Council too, I think.
Yeah, there was probably like a 1% for the art, because whenever you do, I think it's 1% with any capital project that the city's undertaking.
Yeah.
There's usually, and they don't hire like the in-house artist for that, right? It's always.
Do we have in-house
I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
No, that would be very controversial.
Whenever they have paintings done of us, they always have to choose somebody.
Well, if they do portraits of mayors, when they do portraits of mayors, usually it's the mayor who gets to say who's the painter, but then sometimes it happens and they see the painting, they don't like it.
Right.
And that kind of happens too.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so if you get a chance to go down to Sacramento Street and dodge down into there, you'll love it. They're still prepping the soccer field, the
So
open
is it
place.
is it enough room is it just a soccer field or is it a baseball field? What is it?
I think it's really more for soccer. You could
Because
lay down chalk lines anywhere you like, really.
Right, but it's not like there's a first base, right, it's really not for that.
I think it's more
soccer.
or for just kids running around on it too.
Right, but soccer you can just bring in the
it's absolutely perfect for the kids at the Baldwin School to have that there. They have a playground
They
over
do have a
at Oxford
playground in
as
the
well,
corner there, but you're
boy,
right.
This is great to have. So and there's also kids at the Morgan Center too. So so this is really not a bad place to live, actually.
No,
I'd have to say to that. So anyway, again, I'm just sort of running through a little bit of a list here of some of
So
my
what else
favorite
is
places.
your favorite?
Well, the next one I was going to throw in here are things related to the water system of the city, specifically Fresh Pond Reservation.
Okay.
And even though unfortunately, I didn't have a great photo of the Payson Park Reservoir,
Which is in Belmont.
Which is actually in Belmont,
Which
right?
then
That's
get our water
essentially
from
that's
there.
like our water tower.
Right.
So the water comes from upcountry in Waltham, Weston, Lexington, Lincoln, comes into Fresh Pond. It's treated after Fresh Pond, and then pumped uphill to Belmont to the Payson Park Reservoir, and then that gives the pressure that pressurizes the
So
whole
where does
system.
Belmont get their water from?
Good question. Maybe they're an MWRA town. It could be. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, one of the things, if you sort of pay attention long enough, you actually get to witness the renovation of a lot of these systems. So, I was on a water and sewer advisory committee appointed by Mayor Al Vellucci.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
I think it was in 1988.
Sounds right. It's 30 years
Yeah.
ago.
And
Jeez.
at the time, a lot of these systems were kind of
we were
falling
youngin'.
apart. Yeah. But things are really falling apart, and
This is before they did the water.
everything, before everything. So,
Yeah.
They were basically just trying to get the attention of the city council to sort of get them to approve a budget item to actually do a big capital improvement. The city's finances weren't yet in the great shape they are today.
88.
Yeah, so it was a big deal.
I'm trying to think of Reagan years.
All right, so
No,
anyway, so
Reagan, yeah.
by approximately 1991 is when they redid what was essentially the water tank. It's two basins up on the top of, up in at Payson Park in Belmont. And I was there for the ribbon cutting for that. And actually, the top of that, it was be a perfect football field, except it's fenced off. You can't do it.
Yes.
I think in Belmont they actually do things like some musical concerts there in the summer.
I've gone by
They
there.
open it.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that sometime if they're still doing that. But it's beautiful. It really is a beautiful thing. When they built it so it's going to last 100 years or more, and it was a wonderful, wonderful job. So I have no pictures of that, right?
No.
But subsequently, by the time we got to the late 90s, it was time to do the whole water treatment plant.
Right.
Now, Fresh Pond Reservation itself is gorgeous. In fact,
Yes.
this is one of my favorite. I took this
Yeah, it is
photo one time, which is.
Now, where is that located?
This is actually right below the water treatment facility, the current facility. This is artwork from Mags Harris.
Oh, right.
And
Gosh.
it's actually meant to suggest a very skinny little section of a water pipe, but looking out over the pond. So I was there at sunset one
Very
time and
nice.
snapped this picture.
Very
Right.
nice.
But the thing is, so it's anybody who's gone around Fresh Pond, and if you haven't, you should.
Yes.
But the thing is,
2.5 miles.
it's a beautiful place to
About.
walk, and people walk their dogs on leash, of course. But it's a great place, and what's particularly also great about it, actually, let's scroll down a
Yeah.
little bit here, is that
This is
so
wow.
this is meant to sort of show what the water treatment facility looked like before the late 90s.
Well,
so-
what do you mean look like before? That's
All right, so from
destroyed.
1921 till about 1998 or 9, there was the McGinnis filtration plant, which was, when it was built, it was state of the art, but by the time it was knocked down, it no longer was. And I just have just a few photos here. Let's just sort of run right down through them here. This is when they were tearing down the old plant.
Yeah.
Right, I think we got one more looking down here at the old, what they call the clear well. That was the finished water after filtration. Then it was
So ground level would be higher up,
a
like
little bit
over
higher
here.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, I see.
exactly. That
Yeah.
was below grade.
Right.
Okay, and then it was replaced by the new plant, which I think is the next picture
Oh,
down.
Yeah.
So
this
many
is
people.
while it's almost done.
Yeah, so this is it about when it was almost done. So this would have been about the year 2001.
Yeah.
Now it's all landscaped. There's a little
Is there
parking
another
area
photo?
in front. I don't know that there is. I was looking around. I have them around, but I just didn't have time to
Is this a
find them all
different?
today.
Oh, this is different.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So anyway, so that's
Yeah.
that's our filtration plant now that replaced the old one.
And you can go on tours of that. You just have to go on the website and
That's
find
right.
out.
The
Yeah.
Friends of Fresh Pond Reservation actually work which is another heroically wonderful group.
Yeah.
They'll put together. They advertise these tours. It's
Is it through
approximately-
them or is it not through the city?
It's actually the water department.
It's the water department
but-
with them, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
but I think there are these citizen groups that kind of
And it's
have
every
helped
couple
encourage
months or
them
so
to do
it
it.
seems. So
Yeah, and I've gone on them numerous
it's
times.
really wonderful. You can take kids too.
You can take kids,
Yeah.
and it's actually a great place to learn
Yep.
about the water system.
You would be surprised
Yeah.
what you see.
So So anyway, so that was yet another number on my list. I wish I had a picture of Payson Park for those who don't know about that. But another really incredible piece of work that the city did, not all on their own, but they did it working cooperatively with the DCR and other, I think the MWRA as well, was down west of the Alewife Tea Station. So back down there, it used to be kind of pretty foul in some ways with the combined sewer overflows. So and it was actually a big sewer project that was happening called the Huron A and Huron B jobs. Just do septic and stormwater separations.
Is this where I should be clicking here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened is the city said, well, look, we could just sort of fix the pipes, or we can do something really cool, which is to actually create kind of an artificial wetland with wetland plants that will actually work as a filter to process some of the
So creating
waste.
a wetland instead of
Right, but
maintaining one.
it's actually operates almost like a machine in that what it's doing, it's got plants that are actually dealing with some of the materials that come out of the sewer overflows, and or really just I should say stormwater, some of the nastiness that's in stormwater, and deals with it before it overflows into the Little River, and then from the Little River winds its
So
way
is that
down
an
to
accepted practice
Alewife.
that everyone should be doing? That
If you
has
have a
this kind
place
of-
to do it, and maybe it's not the best. I mean, you could probably have a hard time doing it in the middle of New York City, for example. So
right, but I'm just saying where you have this kind of. You're saying this is overflow.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so
let's just look at
so
this,
anyway, so this is what it looks like. I think this is a
Okay.
photo maybe I took last year.
So what?
Right.
This bridge.
So there's
What is that in the back there? This bridge.
So I think along one edge is actually the path that runs along an old railroad grade. It's all in Cambridge. This is actually a piece of Cambridge, believe it or not,
Okay.
folks.
Oh, this is a railroad grade here.
No.
Oh.
Actually, that's a pedestrian footbridge. I wish
Oh.
I'd take a picture of it up close.
Yeah, I'm just
so
trying to
see
think.
it.
Oh, and what? So this is someone's house over here. I'm just trying to think how close we are
I think
to
there are
like.
actually some offices that back onto Cambridge
Oh wait,
Park
this is
Drive.
a road here. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
so
I
Cambridge
see.
Park
I get
Drive
it.
is off to the left.
I see.
here.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this is what
now.
you're in there. Now, a few years ago, this was all just naked, and
Wow.
they put in all these very carefully chosen wetland plants, that are actually functioning and basically dealing with the treatment of the water.
Amazing.
And it's an incredibly beautiful place, and it's in Cambridge. So
How long did it take them to do that?
well, the thing is, the plants kind of grow on their own, but
Once they get.
there were
established.
people. They actually got a lot of volunteers. I remember Mika van Buzikum going out there, and they
Well,
were
makes
actually
sense.
hand planting these
Well,
things.
that's what happened at Fresh Pond. I
Yeah.
mean, at the
Actually,
Magazine
if you
Beach.
scroll down here, I think I do have a picture of what it looked like before. So this is another picture
No, this
here.
is another picture of it.
Just
a little closer.
looking the other
Okay.
way here.
All right.
From the other end, looking back
Yeah.
toward where the footbridges
And you
that
think
are
you have
running
another
there.
picture here?
If you go down below, I think I have a picture.
Oh, this
So
is while it's getting done.
This is when it was being constructed.
Oh
which
my
is,
gosh!
This
look
is
at
maybe
that.
2014, I think.
So there's no water here right now.
No water at all, and it was all basically laid out, and they designed exactly where they were
Wow.
going to put all the wetland plantings.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was. I went in there multiple times during this whole period when they were grading it, excavating,
And
grading
who paid
it.
for this? Is this
It was a
DCR
combination of the city.
Oh, right, you
there
said
was
that.
MWRA grants as well.
City, okay.
Because the thing is what this is really helpful in helping out with the water quality for the Little
Absolutely.
River, and then from then on the Alewife Brook, and then the Mystic River.
I was going to say it connects to the Mystic. Right?
Yeah, so it was not.
What
It's
a
not.
wonderful project.
It's not just the city's responsibility.
We
It's.
have to think regionally.
We really
do.
should.
Yeah.
And the thing is Cambridge was in a position to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not every town can do this as easily, so
True.
we chose to do it.
Yeah.
But in terms of these are a few of my favorite things. I mean, this is definitely one of them,
You
right?
are my
Yeah.
favorite.
Now I don't know if we have another one below that. That may
Uh,
be it for that one. Yeah, I think it is. Yes,
Okay, that's another
right.
thing. All right,
So-
we'll go to that next, maybe.
Yeah, so we may have to spill over to the next one here, but another one of my own personal
Yeah.
favorite places, and it should be yours too,
Yeah.
is actually only a little bit in Cambridge.
Do I have the right image here?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Mount Auburn Cemetery,
Oh,
which
it's only a
fronts-
little bit. Oh, that's true. It's
actually
Watertown,
once you
isn't it?
go inside the gate of the Mount Auburn Cemetery, it becomes Watertown very very quickly.
All
So
of
most of it's in
Watertown, okay.
Watertown, but it is just the singularly best place to go in Cambridge.
Wow.
Right, and yes, this is one little friend. This is the kind of thing. There are foxes. There are all sorts of critters. This is a hawk.
Oh, a hawk.
And he just was up on a branch, and I looked up at him. He looked right back at me as if to say, "What are you looking at, buddy?"
Look
You
at
know,
that.
so I just snapped a picture of this hawk who was just checking me out, and I was checking him out. Right. Actually, let's just scroll down a little bit more here. So this is
Now,
not
where's
only can you
this
see there's a
from?
tremendous amount of wildlife at Mount Auburn Cemetery.
Wait a minute, is this?
But there's also an elevation. So if you go up onto to Tower, which is the tower at Mount Auburn Cemetery.
You can see this?
Yeah, so you can go up there's times when you can go up the
I
tower.
didn't realize I had a height like that.
Yeah, and you're actually
Or a
looking
tower.
right back toward Memorial Hall at Harvard University. If you look, you can see in the distance. You can see all the way to the harbor.
Okay, but what's this building?
That would be
It's a
probably Is that Buckingham Brown Nichols School? I think
really?
BBN. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because this might be Memorial or whatever, Starro or something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's but let's be
interesting.
clear. This is a cemetery, so
Yeah.
it's a remarkably historic place. You can visit the graves of some incredibly interesting and
Yeah.
important historical figures.
Like who?
With, well, for example, Josiah Quincy is one of my own favorites.
Oh.
Who was a mayor of Boston who really laid
Right.
out their whole water system, and Quincy Market is
Nah.
attributable to him
Well, I
as
didn't
well.
call Quincy the city.
Well, I think that
No?
predates him actually.
It
'Cause-
does?
Oh yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But the thing is, this is just a view from the top. I think I may have one more, just to sort of just give a little bit of just a taste. So there's a bit of an Egyptian theme that runs through the place.
Oh yeah.
And this is the memorial, to basically the abolition of
Union
slavery.
Preserved.
Yeah,
African slavery
it's actually an
destroyed.
incredibly
Uprising
moving location
Of
to
a
go
great
there.
people by the blood of fallen heroes. Wow,
Yes.
that's quite a statement.
It really is. It's an incredible statue, and this is right across from Bigelow Chapel, which is what they're renovating right now. So, anyway, we'll have to come.
Yeah.
We can come back to that here
Okay.
because we're down to our last 10 seconds. So
We're
pick
gonna
it
have
up.
more photos
We'll
in
pick
the
it
next
up.
segment.
We'll do some more of our favorite things in a few minutes.
See you in the next segment.
See you then.